Okay, good morning boys and girls, it's Grandpa Chris here. Today, got something slightly different for you. Recently I've been having all sorts of issues with my GoPro cameras. My 8 has finally died. I'm filming this on the GoPro 9, with which I've been having battery issues, overheat issues, all sorts of bits and bobs. So I've been doing some research into other action cameras, and I've decided that I'm going to give the DJI Osmo Action 4 a go. I've gone for the adventure combo, which you get one or two little accessories with. So what I'd like to do is just go through these accessories with you. Okay. As a prelude to today's little walk around, I wanted to show you what comes with the DJI Osmo Action Adventure combo. I've decided to go with the Osmo Action 4 because I've been having lots of issues with my GoPros. I'm currently filming this on my GoPro 9. And in the video I'm going to take you for a little walk, just to show you how the Action Adventure combo works. With the Adventure you get, of course, you get the camera, the Action 4. You get the selfie stick, which opens out to 1.5 meters in length. You get the recharging pack, which comes with 3 endurance batteries rated at 75 minutes per. You get your USB-C to C cable, your lens cover, you get a curved motorcycle helmet mount, 2 screws, and 1 long and 1 short mounting clip, and the mounting clip goes on to the base of the camera, and I'll show you how that happens. Bear with me. So this is the camera, the Action 4. Okay, you've got a little side slot here, okay, with a central button. You push and you slide up, and you push your battery into the slot, clicking it home thoroughly. I've already put in the memory card. I've gone for 256 with the speed rating of 3. The Osmo Action camera systems do not function with slower memory cards, micro cards, than a 3 rating. It will just spit them out. They do not like it. So you need to make sure that you use the high-speed cards. Okay. On the other side, you have your charging cable port, and you can put any external media that you want, microphones and other bits and bobs on there. Okay. And again, if you see any red, you must make sure that you click it in tight, otherwise it will not be waterproof. Same with the battery housing. If you can still see that red clip, you're not waterproof. So you make sure you click it down thoroughly. Okay. The extending selfie stick goes out to 1.5 meters. I'm standing here, it's touching my ceiling. Okay. And all the way down to about 10 inches in length. To mount the clip, make sure that the DJI logo is facing forward. Magnetic clip. Squeeze the little buttons in there to make sure it goes home, and to release it, squeeze them again, and off they come. Okay? And now you're ready to mount it onto whatever accessory you want to use. And for the purposes of this little clip, I'm going to mount it onto the selfie stick. Okay, just like that, and you're pretty much ready to go. Okay, now in the video, as I said, you are going to see, oh, I forgot to mention the battery pack. Comes with 3 batteries. Put them in there, plug them in there, USB-C to C or whatever, and it takes roughly 80 minutes to charge them from nothing. They they came out of the box, they were already about 75% charged. Took 25 minutes or so to top them off. Okay, batteries are rated for a minimum 75 minutes in pretty much all temperature conditions. Okay, and in the little video clip I do a timeline as far as how much battery I used over the period of time. Okay, I'm going to clip this onto the front of my little walk around. It's going to be a straightforward, honest, no nonsense type chat with you as I'm going around. We're testing bright sunshine. We go into woodlands, dappled woodlands, darker areas. There's wind issues that we have to talk about, and you'll see in the video. All in all, I think the Osmo 4 action camera performed brilliantly. Okay, I did have issues, which you will see at the end of the videos. I had issues loading it up onto my desktop computer and the files not being recognized. The files load up onto your computer as LDF files, low density frequency files, okay, which the computer does not recognize as being video files. And I will go through with you in a little while what you need to do to convert those files on your computer, so that you convert them from LDF to MP4 files. And it was something that was giving me a few little headaches towards the end of the day. But we'll go through that in a later part of the video. I hope you enjoy this. By disclaimer, I am no expert by any means. If it's got an on button, I start to get twitchy. But through the help of some good friends, I've been able to produce the video which you're just about to see. So thank you for taking the time to watch it. I hope it helps. As I said, I'm no expert. I called on experts to get me through a few of the issues. Thank you for your time.
To see you all, to see you nice. I've come out this afternoon to do a little field test on the DJI Osmo Action 4 action camera. I'm sure some of you have been aware that I've had real problems with my GoPro cameras over the recent trips, with them sort of freezing and overheating and corrupted files, all sorts of things. The other day I was doing some baking with Marissa, which the video is on the channel, where I had to change from the 8 to the 9 because the 8 completely froze and then died. So did a lot of research, reading into the various different types of action camera and doing a price comparison. Decided to go with the Osmo Action 4. Now I'll freely admit I've had quite a few issues yesterday trying to get the thing to activate. I'm no techie. I struggle with anything with an on button, but particularly so sort of getting my mobile phone to recognize and sort of connect to this camera. Anyway, after about an hour and a half of increasing frustration and being able to resist the temptation to go and get a whiskey, I finally managed to get it to register, connect, and then upgrade the firmware on this camera. Now, one thing that I have found out with further research is that these Osmo cameras will only function with high-speed micro USB cards. I've put a 256 with a speed rating of 3, which is the highest you can get apparently, and I haven't had any reject and alarm signals coming through from it yet. So I'm hoping that I found a remedy for that, but it does make me wonder whether the freezing problems that I was having with the GoPros, mainly with the 8 but latterly with the 9, was down to the slow speed cards and the cards not writing fast enough, which is why I kept on getting the notification repairing file on the GoPros. So I've got some more high speed cards coming this afternoon, and I shall give the 9 and the 8 a try and see if that will eliminate the problems. But in the meantime, I've just come out to see how this thing does, whether or not the stabilizing and the gimbal is as good as the GoPros. Already I'm noticing that access to battery compartments on this Osmo much easier. I did a battery test on it last night. I got 75 minutes of continuous running time, half of it recording, half of it sitting in standby. It was 75 minutes out of the battery, which I then put on to charge, and it charged up in about an hour and a half. Again, that's a better performance with the charging than the GoPro, and 3.5 times what I was getting with the batteries on the 8, and twice the time that I was getting the batteries on the 9. So I went for the Osmo 4 Adventure Pack, which comes with this extending selfie stick. I've only got it on about half length at the moment. It comes with the charger and 3 batteries, 3 endurance batteries, which they do say the 3 batteries should give me up to 7 hours of recording time. That is to be seen, and I think that depends on the frame rate, whether I go with 1080 or whether I go with 4K. What's that saying now? Okay, so the screen just went blank on me, but touch the screen, it comes back up, and I'm being attacked by midges. So yeah, the battery endurance seems to be a lot more promising than with the GoPros. I've recently got a couple of the GoPro Enduro batteries for the 9, and I've yet to do a test on those, and they say I'm supposed to be able to get twice the duration out of the Enduro that I do with the normal batteries which come with the 9, but again, that's to be seen. Now, I'm currently wandering around my local wildlife park, the Wanstead Flats here in East London, part of my normal daily walk. Be going across the main road in a minute into the forest, into the woodlands up towards Wanstead Golf Course, and I'll be doing a little low light test, see how it copes. I mean, brilliant bright sunshine at the moment, and it's about 27 degrees. In a minute when we get up into the woods, of course it's going to cool down, the light is going to be very much lower, and it will be quite interesting to see the difference that it makes. So I'm going to turn you on to standby for a little while, and I'll come back to you when I get to the woodlands. Okay, so here we are, boys and girls, I'm back again. Now I've just come down into the woodlands, which takes you down towards the Hollow Pond, towards Redbridge and Wanstead. And I just wanted to do a light comparison. I've had the GoPro down here in the past, and I'll try and find those clips just to see what the difference is. But it's very much dappled light, lots of trees around, as you can see. Some classic ancient woodlands around here. Also, another interesting sidebar to this is it's very, very humid in here, and it will be interesting to see whether or not this reacts in the same way the GoPros do, because they actually steam up a little bit from time to time. But whereas I've got the adapter doors on my GoPros, which renders them no longer waterproof, this one's got all the facilities in it and it is completely waterproof. I don't need to add any side gadgets like microphones or lenses or anything to it. It is completely waterproof. So hopefully condensation on the lens won't be the problem. But sort of my armpits are starting to leak, so just be interesting to see how it copes with the differing light. We've just gone into some bright sunlight, because looking at the tutorial videos last night, it says it should cope with all of this completely automatically. I don't need to change any settings or anything, but we'll see how it goes. So I think you've seen enough of my ugly face. I'm going to turn the camera around now and just let you see some of the beauty of these ancient woodlands in Wanstead in East London. With the mountings for the Osmos, they're slightly different to the GoPro. The magnetic clip which attaches by two little spring clips to the bottom or to the side of the camera, and then there's a little adapter bar at the bottom which you use to screw into whichever fitting you're using, in the same way that you do for GoPro. Does not have the little folding clips, mounting clips that the GoPro has, which makes it a lot more sturdy. Interesting to see what the wind noise is like on this as well. So I've got quite a stiff breeze coming up my back at the moment. Coming back into some more dappled light. That's the 14th green, and I go around the corner to the 16th, the 15th. The old boy holding the flag there, he just had a 10-yard chip onto the green, which he hit about 12 inches. I nearly laughed, but I'm not going to disturb them. So anyway, so I've got now 31 minutes of video, 31 minutes of use from this, and I've just checked the battery rating. I've still got 69% left of the battery. So 20 minutes of filming and other minutes of standby, and still got 69%. I would have been seriously concerned now with the GoPro as to how soon I would be having to change the battery. But following last night's battery test, I'm quite confident. So I'm just walking sort of in a northerly direction along the side of the 14th hole here at Wanstead. It's one of those you drive to the top of the hill. It may be a 2 or a 3 iron to the top of the hill, keeping it to the left to give you a good access to the green, and then hope your ball doesn't roll off the end, because it rolls away from you. It's a good hole of golf. If you really catch a driver, you can get it to the sort of 20 yards short of the front of the green. Either that, or you can join me here out in the footpath, out of bounds. This is actually quite a steep little climb. don't know if you can see over behind me. Quite a pretty walk. So the path breaks off to the right in a moment. Straight ahead takes you to a pub, which I'm avoiding at the moment because I've got a waistline to prevent. And then on towards Wanstead Station. And to the right takes you down towards the old monument and my favourite part of the walk, which is the little ice cream cabin. And of course I shall stop and have a little can of full fat Coke and maybe an Eccles cake. Someone's just hit off and the ball has landed on the path behind me, so he'll be reloading. Came flashing through the tree. The second player has just teed off and it's gone straight down the middle. So let's see what the battery life is. 62%. And I have 37 minutes of filming. I'm also wearing a new pair of glasses today, which my long-time friend and optician, Mr. Patel of Forest Gate, has so kindly put together for me. They've got various different coatings on the lens, including polarization, and I can see deep into the water with these. So if you're living in the east of London and you need a decent private optician, Pradip Patel, Wood Grange Road, Forest Gate, mention my name. We're right round the other side of the lake number 2 now. If you can see it, massive weed growth in it. Of course they go and plant bloody trees right where I want them to be. I want the camera to be. I've got to say, I am really impressed with this selfie stick. Currently almost a metre out in front of me. Comfortable, easy. Let's see how far it will go. There you go. 1.5 meters. So, a nice little hill to climb now. So if you hear me getting out of breath, you can understand why. Some of these ancient woods are described in history books going back 500 and 600 years. And I'm sure these hills were just as steep back then as they are now. Oh, they didn't have the planes taking off from London City Airport back in those days. And they didn't have unfit, fat, overweight old grandpas walking up bloody hills talking to GoPros and Osmos. But the old expression is, what goes up must come down. I wonder what it looks like going down there like that. Makes me look fat, so I'll bring it back up here. Makes me look slim again. Okay, so I'm back. Just stopped off at the ice cream hut and had a full fat Coke and a little bit of a pastry and a 20-minute sit down. Just watch the dogs playing and the birds in the lakes. It's getting very, very warm. Very, very warm. What time is it now? It's 3:10 in the afternoon. I'd say it's probably 26, 27 degrees. So almost 40 minutes into the video and the battery is showing 56%. So that gives me something like an hour and a half of recording time, as opposed to the 40 minutes that I would get with the standard GoPro batteries. Loving the clear picture. I've had a look back on the screen at one or two of the segments. It's lovely and clear. It seems to be pretty steady, and that was the purpose of coming out this afternoon, was to see what the gimbal was like. I may be changing my opinions of the Action 4. We'll get back and I'll transfer everything over onto the desktop and see what they're like for editing. Apparently you can edit it on this camera or on your cell phone, but I'm not that technically minded. I shall use my normal editing software, Pinnacle 25, which I've had some good success with over the last 4 years. There's no point in changing something that's successful. Right, I've got to stop and let some young children past on their bikes. Come down. Good girl. Well done. She was very young, so I'm not going to video them. I don't want to have any issues with Child Protection Act and all that sort of thing. My little brother's running past me with a stick in his hand. Just look at that sky. Isn't that beautiful? We're walking out into the middle of the ancient Wanstead Flats now. Six years ago there was a massive brush fire and all of this was burnt to the ground. Fire raged for 3 days. It was on the local news, on the national news. The area where I'm standing at the moment, flames 30 feet high. Everything was just burnt to a cinder, burnt right down. There's nothing left above ground level. And Mother Nature has reclaimed it all in 5 years. I actually got interviewed by BBC London. Made a complete and utter arse of myself in the interview, but hey ho, nothing unusual for me. I'm 17,000 steps into my normal 20. Beginning to feel a bit tired. But it's been good. Let's see what battery life is looking like. 41%. And I've got an hour and 12 minutes of film. Turn you off for a little while. Okay, so I'm back at my house now. I've got 19,200 steps on the counter. Been out for 2 hours. I've got an hour and 20 minutes of video. I've got 50 minutes of stand down, and I've still got 37% battery left. So I think we can safely say that the battery lasts a little bit longer on the Osmo than it does on the GoPro. So yeah, been an interesting test. Let's just see how well this lot downloads to the computer. Thank you. Okay, so I've been out into the garden and I've shot a little video clip on the CJI, and I'm now going to load it up onto my computer. Okay, so I have the little adapter type kit, which plug in. Now again, disclaimer, no computer expert, but this is what I was shown last night. So click in here into my computer, into the SD card, DCMI, DJI. Now if I load up the MP4 folder, okay, put that on there, okay, and then I will load up the LRF file, put that beside it. Watch what happens when I try to play the MP4 file. I get the audio, okay, not now, it's trying to sell me something, close. I'll get audio but no picture, okay, and that's where I thought I got a bit of a problem and started scratching my head. So don't need that, can get rid of it. Hang on, I do need to keep that. So this is the the LDF file, low density file.
Guys, so
okay,
earlier on,
it's playing. Okay, so don't need to go through that. I can get rid of it. What I need to do is rename it. So right click it and then click on the bottom corner. I don't know if you can see that. Backspace and then type in MP4 space and then click outside the box. It says here, if you choose the file name extension, the file might become unusable. Are you sure you want to change it? You click yes, and suddenly it is an MP4
guys,
file.
So
And you can now use that on your video.
I was going to try to show you
Okay.
one or two of the issues that I've had with.
So now I'm going to add that to my video and go just by means of an explanation. Okay. So thank you guys. Basically, I got this information from a good friend of mine who's a bit of a computer wizard, and it sort of saved me a little bit of stress. My blood pressure went down and whatever. Okay, so yeah, talk to you in a minute.